How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Block Theater. And if this rumor is to be believed as true, if the reason why you clicked on this video has got your mind percolating with, oh my God, what are they thinking? If any of that is to be real, the MCU is going to shatter faster than Mjolnir in Hela's hands in Thor Ragnarok. If you think the fallout over The Last Jedi was bad, just wait to see whether or not this is a reality. And before we begin, do me a solid. Hit like, leave a comment, subscribe, click the bell, and definitely become a patron. Link in the video description. So anyway, what we're seeing here, and this is coming from MCU Cosmic, which Jeremy Conrad is usually a pretty knowledgeable guy. Right? He's a knowledgeable dude. I'll give him credit there. But he says here, rumor, Marvel is considering POC for Professor X and Magneto. I can already see the rage comments coming. I can already feel it emanating through my camera. This is what? Let's find out more. So it says here that the X-Men won't show up in the MCU for a long time, according to Kevin Feige, but that doesn't mean Marvel Studios isn't already brainstorming on what to do with the new toys they have access to. We've known about this for a while. We've known that they weren't able to actively start working on and developing X-Men properties for quite some time until I want to say around mid last year, when the deal was pretty much all said and done. They kind of got the go ahead. That's my understanding of it. I could be wrong, but that was my understanding of it. So you could already tell that they're working on this. It's one of the reasons why at Comic-Con they were like, oh, Fantastic Four and mutants. He didn't say X-Men, he said mutants. It's one of the reasons why we've seen a lot of people jumping to conclusions about who they want to hire in the process. So it says one thing they're apparently considering is a huge change to Xavier and Magneto. And they're thinking about making either Magneto or Xavier both black in the MCU, which is interesting. Not bad, by the way. I'm part of me for comic accuracy is not a huge fan of this, but at the same time, if done well, it could work. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's like, my initial response was, what? And then the more I think about it, the more I'm like, what if it's the right person for the job? Kind of like Kingpin in Daredevil by being played by Michael Clark Duncan, who Kingpin is a white dude, but here you've got Michael Clark Duncan who has the physical prowess to be that kind of imposing, foil to Daredevil. And I feel that it worked really well back in 2003, and not a lot of people had a problem with it in 2003 when the movie came out. In fact, Kingpin was one of the better aspects of the movie if you talk to most fans of it. So these kind of things can be done, but they have to be done right. Although in this current political climate, I don't know if it could be done properly. Now it says, while it's a huge change for the characters, it'd be a big way to separate the MCU from the two Fox franchises and the people who played the characters in those films, which is true. And that is something that could very much happen. It says that it's really early and this is something that they're thinking about. We may have years before we see the characters in the MCU. Still, that they're thinking of doing something as different as this should excite people for what they have planned for the mutants, as it won't be a repeat of what we've seen before. But here's the thing, Jeremy. People want a repeat of what we've seen before. They just want it handled the right way. If you go to most X-Men fans and you go, hey, X-Men in the MCU, what was it you would like, your bucket list on this one, or your wish list? And they would go, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, talking with Robert Downey Jr. or working with the X-Men or something along those lines. When you talk about Deadpool, it's like Deadpool and Spider-Man. Do you want it to be Ryan Reynolds and Tom Holland or somebody else? And they'll go, no, I want Ryan Reynolds. I want Tom Holland. This is where it is. Yes, they want these characters brought into the MCU, but they want the characters that we know from the Fox movies just merged into the universe and have them be on screen, because that's what they're used to. Now, originally, when Stan Lee and the other guys conceived, Magneto and Professor X, and they did base a lot of it off of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcom X. And that ultimately makes the most sense for trying to go down that path, right? To be more accurate, more representative of its origins versus what we saw on the comics and in the cartoons and in the games and in the movies. But I think it's kind of dumb to do that, if you want my honest opinion. I again, if it's the right casting and the right person for the job, I think it's going to be more palatable. But when you've got someone like Feige, who is known for being, relatively comic accurate, and that's one of the things he's known for, is trying to find the best way to present this kind of stuff. I think going down this particular path of having POC, Professor X and Magneto is not going to go over well with the fans. Does that mean I'm not going to go see it? No, of course I'm going to see it. My job is to review movies. I would, of course, go see it. That's not a problem for me. What I think is going to be a problem for most people, though, is going to be the idea, though, that these characters that they know, that they love, that they cherish, are being adapted in a way that is antithetical, or at least anti of what they were perceived as. And it's not that there hasn't been slight changes. Nick Fury was originally looking like David Hasselhoff, and then the Ultimates edition made him look like Sam Jackson, and now Sam Jackson is kind of the definitive Nick Fury. But Nick Fury is not as big of a character as Professor X and Magneto, who have a ton of movies between the characters, and a lot of people like the characters. And I think it's going to be, I don't know. I don't foresee this going over well with a certain group of people here on YouTube and a certain group of people in general. And the thing is, here's the deal. You have every right to not like this information, because people want comic accurate representation on camera. People want diversity in these characters. And so when they're getting that, and that's it's the thing I don't get too. They're calling like phase 4 woke because it's focusing on female characters. And the same people that are going to be mad at it for focusing on female characters, even though those characters are more comic accurate, are going to, at least in regards to the, official canon in the comics, this one is going to make them even more angry, which is going to kind of be funny to watch in and of itself. So there's that. It's gonna be wild and crazy to see what happens. I am curious to know your thoughts on this one. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys have to say about it. Do you think is this something you're intrigued by, you're interested by, or is this outright blasphemy and you won't touch it? The MCU is dead. Let me know down in the comments below. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.